All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Thomas Galgani Show. Today is the first of Cinema Saturdays. Today, we're gonna pick one show. We've already picked it, but we're gonna talk about Sugar. The show Sugar can be found on what is it called? Apple
TV.
Apple TV, But anyways, so Cinema Saturdays is basically just, we talk about any kind of movie or show that's been meaningful to us, that's kind of impacted us or myself. There might be some solos in there. But fortunately today I'm joined with my brother, Steve. And you guys recently finished Sugar, right?
Yeah, we watched it.
How long ago did you guys finish it?
About a week or so ago.
Okay. Yeah. We finished it kind of recently too. And because it's kind of still a new show and, some of you guys may not have seen it, I think we'll try to stick away from spoilers actually today.
Oh, really?
Let's stick away from spoilers. Keep more with some of the generalities just so that, just so that hopefully if you haven't seen this yet, you'll still enjoy this episode and then, maybe want to go check out the show. Because I think that there's still some stuff that we can kind of unpack here today.
Yeah. Maybe we can do a spoiler section at the end.
Yeah. We'll do that at the end. And I'll throw out another disclaimer, another warning before we do that. But to start, this was kind of a fun one for me. I really enjoyed watching it just because it had that noir sort of vibe to it. And it had been a long time since I had seen any kind of movies like that or read any books. There was actually a stretch in college, course in college where we had to read noir novels in the noir genre. And it was just really cool. The opening sequence, I think, is just really good. I also like the way it's filmed. I like the style of it, kind of the aesthetic. So many different things. What are some things that you liked about it or that you'd like to comment on?
Yeah, I definitely liked the style and everything about it, like the car and everything, his suits.
Oh yeah.
And then even the way that they go into detail on like the whiskey and stuff that he's drinking or they're drinking on the show. I just thought it was all made for like a really good watch.
Yeah, I agree. And they do kind of interlace. I don't think this gives away too much because it happens right away, but they interlace a lot of kind of, I guess, a lot of it is an homage to old films, kind of black and white noir films. And what I like about it too, though, is just that there's a lot more, there's just a lot of style to it. And I used to live in LA, went to school down there. And so when we were seeing these different spots, it brought back some memories in a good way. There's just a special kind of almost like a taste to LA that I feel like you don't fully get unless you've been there before. The good TV shows and the good movies obviously do a good job of capturing that, but it was cool. Obviously there are some things that are probably less realistic in the shows. Very rarely do you see traffic, and so that's one of the things where it's like there's always going to be traffic there.
And he's able to park wherever he goes.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, parking. Just really maybe like, what are some other things that you like? So like the car, the style, and then
the inner dialogue is really great that he has, because that's another like noir thing where you have the detective who's like kind of narrating the story with his own inner dialogue. I thought they did a really good job with that.
Yeah, and that was fun, too. As the show progresses, you kind of learn a little bit more and more about the character, him, as a protagonist, which makes sense. That's how all stories are. But I think it's kind of cool that it almost becomes less and less about the case that he's trying to solve, but then almost more about him for some parts of it.
Yeah. It becomes more about him, and then I think just human nature. That seems to be like the main thing at the end, the last few episodes.
Yeah, it was sad, man. Like,
Yeah.
for parts of it, and Colin Farrell's always been a big action star. I know we kind of grew up watching a lot of his movies and stuff, but this one I liked it because it was also showed a different side. He was almost more kind of compassionate for different parts of it. Like he showed more concern for the people that he was interacting with and stuff like that. But the scene with the homeless guy, I thought was sad, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, both parts of that were sad. Like the whole part where he's talking to him and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like sad, kind of more in a good way, and then it's sad again later once you find out what happens.
Okay, that was a minor spoiler, but that's okay. Yeah, I agree. And
yeah, no, Colin Farrell's great in it. I think he's always had those. He's always had that ability to like shows emotional side or whatever you would.
the compassionate.
Yeah,
side.
like in Bruges was pretty good. You know, I mean, it's a good movie. Came out probably like 15 years ago.
Yeah,
And so I think he's always had that talent. I think he's known probably more for like some of the cheesier action movies like SWAT, which was like still a good movie back in the day.
I remember this one guy say, yeah, just no, different people. I don't know. There are all kinds of different opinions on obviously movie stars. We got into that a little bit last time we talked with, I think, when Daniel Craig came up with James Bond and how he brings a lot to the table. And that's the interesting thing I think about movie stars, though, is that you don't always know. Is there a star? I heard somebody talking about this recently. Whatever happened to movie stars? Why don't they exist anymore? I mean, I'll be honest, though. I thought that was an example, a show that kind of brought that element back to it, where he carries that show.
Yeah.
I don't know, all kinds of other. I think there's still definitely stars.
Yeah, but it's like,
have you seen that interview? I think it was Jordan Peterson with Dennis Quaid.
yeah,
You saw that?
I watched that clip at least where they're talking about the stars.
Yeah. What'd you think? You don't agree with that?
No, I agree. I just, I I think it's just different because I think before social media and all that stuff, stars were more. There's more like mystery behind the star because you didn't see them all the time, but now it's like they'll post stuff every day.
Not all of them, but a lot of them.
A lot of them, yeah.
Like even, and I think that's also a matter of promoting the movies, helping the movies do better.
Yeah.
Is like, I think a lot of people don't even know that some movies exist if the actors don't talk about it, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas before it was just, that was like
everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, you kind of knew about it.
Yeah. And people didn't have to post their like, I think Hollywood's always been political, but it wasn't as like common knowledge to know everybody's political views, you know? And now
you said it was common knowledge.
I think it's always been political. Like stars have always been political about stuff, but it's just not to the extent that it is with like Instagram and everything.
Oh, so like now they're more politicized.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
And it's more politicized, and then they also, just because they're in the public eye more, because they're always putting themselves out there, with their opinions and things like that. In a lot of ways, it makes them less interesting because you already know everything about them. Whereas before, you would only know the movies that they did. So it was always kind of a majestic thing of like, oh, it's a movie star.
Yeah, a little bit of a mystique.
Yeah.
Just kind of the mystery behind it.
But now it's like the curtain's always pulled back and
It's constantly open.
yeah.
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 Yeah, it's constantly open. And but it maybe it's just because I've paid less attention to celebrities, or what people are doing, stuff like that. But it almost seems like a lot of them are a lot quieter about that, about politics or about different things.
Yeah, because I think they're figuring it out. You know, I don't really follow them all either. So
That they're figuring it out. That it's all figuring what out. What do you mean?
like everything I just talked about, how it's like it pays to be less in the public eye.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, it pays in the sense you want to be known, but you don't necessarily have to have everything out there.
Yeah, that's an interesting point for sure.
Maybe I'm completely wrong. I don't actually know any of these stars personally, so
Well, I don't know any of them. I don't know any of them personally either, but it just kind of seems like that kind of less and less of them are kind of voicing different like political sides or positions and stuff like that.
Except for Robert De Niro, he's still.
Oh yeah,
he's still doing that.
I think he's still big into it. Yeah, some people. But yeah, I mean, we'll kind of, as you can see, a lot of these talks with Cinema Saturdays might kind of go off the rails a little bit. So we'll apologize. We apologize. We'll get better at this as it goes on. A couple more things that I wanted to touch on though with this show before we get into the spoiler section is just I really liked the first episode in particular was fun because I think it might have been the second one though too, when he meets Holly from The Office.
Yeah.
I forget the character's name or even the real actress's name.
Yeah, she's in everything now, it seems like.
Yeah, she's in a lot of stuff. She's good in this show too. But there's a scene when I like the scene when he's drinking with her, and just the way that was filmed was kind of cool because they meet at a bar, but it's almost like the time traveling, you know, I think I mentioned that too before, that it's filmed in a way like what drinking can feel like, you know, when like gaps of time will like pass or drag on because of the way it's shot. They use a lot of L cuts or J cuts, and in case so just a quick I apologize if you already know this, but an L cut and a J cut really just has to do with the sound, how the sound blends with the video. So J, meaning that the audio is going to be heard. You hear the audio from the next clip before you actually see it, and it's called a J because the audio track is on the bottom typically in these video editing softwares. And so that's when you hear the audio. That's when you hear the audio first before you get to the next scene. Like let's say if like all of a sudden we're sitting here right now and the camera's on us, and then all of a sudden we hear a car starting before we actually see it, and then it cuts to the car starting. That long drawn out explanation is a J cut. That's a J cut. The opposite would be an L cut, where the audio from the previous visual continues on into the next cut. And I think the effect of that a lot of times is that it makes it feel more dramatic, like the characters are forced to move on from whatever effects they're dealing with faster. Got some noise out there, but that's okay. So anyways, but there are all kinds of different emotional effects, hopefully that, are passed to the audience subconsciously, but it's also just to help those transitions be more seamless. You as a viewer won't notice what is happening on what is done technically.
Yeah, I didn't notice any of that.
You didn't notice that?
No. No.
Man. But I would argue you probably felt it when you were watching it. Like maybe you enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I enjoyed that scene, that whole sequence a lot. And I think when you told me about that, then I replayed it in my head and thought, oh yeah, that's really cool how they did that.
Yeah. I think a lot of shows, and unfortunately even this one, I thought they kind of overdid the L cuts and the J cuts. Mainly I think it was the L cuts. But anyways, I thought they kind of overdid that later on, because it seems like, I don't know if it was trying to be dramatic or what. Hold on, quick pause. Maybe we'll have to figure out what's going on. All right, and we're back. Anything you want to add before we get into the spoiler section?
I really liked the architecture and everything that they showed too. It was great.
Of Los Angeles?
Yeah, especially the producer's house. I thought that was really cool. It's like the old school LA style mansion.
Oh, just the LA style mansion,
Yeah. Well, no, it was just cool.
No, I know. I agree.
Sometimes if you're watching a show like that, it's nice to feel like it really immerses you into that whole scene,
Yeah. Just into the world itself.
Yeah.
I know there's something just kind of unique about the LA scene, the weather, the trees, but yeah, like you were saying, like even the homes and stuff, the architecture, buildings. I haven't been there in so long though. I've heard it's
yeah,
a little bit different now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I hope some of the good stuff is, I'm sure some of the good stuff is still there. It's just,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, so man, I gotta stop saying that's the one thing I need to work on more. So
yeah, you say that a lot. I'm just kidding.
So all right, so just the architecture, and yeah, I agree. If you haven't seen Sugar, you should go check it out. Now we'll get into the spoiler section. So huge disclaimer: if you haven't seen it yet, and there's any part of you that wants to go see it, go check it out. Pause this episode and then come back to us. All right. So he's an alien.
I know.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It took a little bit of time to digest. I think we had to wait like a day and a half or something before watching the next episode after that big reveal.
You guys intentionally just kind of like took a break to think about it.
Yeah. And I mean, at first I thought it was a huge disappointment. I was like, I should have a nice, like normal noir style, like detective show without I didn't realize I was watching a sci-fi show.
I know, and it just got super, super dark towards the end. It was like when I texted you, I was like, that guy's podcast at the end was pretty intense.
His podcast, yeah. No, but after like digesting it fully and everything, I actually liked the twist. Just initially, I wasn't like prepped for that. So
yeah, it turns it into a completely different type of show.
Yeah.
Or a different story. Almost like it's like, I guess technically sci-fi, and it's just all,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know. And that's one of the things that I wanted to say about all the interlacing with the noir films, kind of the old films, is that I almost see it as like he was trying to emulate those films that he had seen. He did like those films, and it was almost him just mimicking what he had seen on screen before.
Yeah.
Did you ever think of it like that?
Yeah. No, I thought it was good. And especially the way that before he did anything, it would show like a cut of an old scene that he was about to pretty much reenact.
Yeah, it was
or
like he had
something,
seen it. He had seen it done before. Like, oh,
Yeah.
this is okay, or like I'm driving the car this way because this is what it looks like in the movies.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I thought it was cool, and I also thought that it was interesting what he was saying, how like the longer we stay here, the more human we become, and all that stuff.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job at the end, because it turned into this whole thing where, I say that a lot too, where
You say what?
say a
Oh,
lot.
I know. I'm working on it. Yeah.
It turned into a whole thing where he was kind of the only character who could see the value of human life. And maybe I'm reading that wrong, but all the characters are pretty much, not all of them, but a lot of them are like horrible people that he interacts with and everything. Like the whole family and everything with the mom and the son.
Yeah.
The mom like covers for the son, even though he's like done this horrible stuff to women and all that.
And he didn't understand.
Yeah.
You're saying he didn't understand that? Like, why?
Well, not so much that, but he still felt empathy for the mom when she was grieving for the loss of her son after he killed himself.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
And then same thing with like, you get that with the homeless guy at first. After he ODs, he's the only one who cares. Even the guy mentions that he has family, but they never like show up or anything. It's unknown if he ever. It doesn't look like he ever called him or anything like that.
Yeah, he probably didn't.
And then just the way that he interacts with everybody. That's what I took away from it. At least it seemed like he was the one who could see the value in human life, even though like he's interacting with all these horrible people. Like he even got the other guy that's like the human trafficking dude.
He felt bad about killing him.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. He felt bad about killing all of it. He said he doesn't like to hurt people and all that stuff because I think they just made it clear that he's like the guy that can value human life, even though we don't value our own.
No,
we don't see the value in ourselves, basically. And the show kind of seemed to the whole aliens thing. So weird to like say that when we're just talking about like
noir.
It's a classic LA story with aliens. But the whole alien thing seemed to be kind of like an allegory for like angels and demons, a little bit.
Oh, like there are good aliens and bad aliens.
Yeah, like there's the obviously evil one would fall more into like the demon archetype, where he's like teaching people how to do these he's teaching the guy's podcast at the end. he's teaching that guy how to do these horrible things, and he's like enjoying it. So it's like you have Colin Farrell as Sugar, would be more of like an angel. He's going through life saving all these people.
Yeah.
And then you have the guy who's the complete, he gets joy out of saving people. And then you get the other guy who gets all of his pleasure out of wrecking people's lives and seeing these horrible things done to people.
Right. Yeah. Causing damage and stuff. Yeah.
That's what I liked about it, looking at it like that. If they come out and they say basically like that's not what they were going for, then I guess I wouldn't understand. I would just have to say, okay, I didn't get the show.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good way to look at it. I like that. I like that take on it because, and it was crazy. I mean, they weren't just normal aliens too. They were highly superior to humans.
Yeah.
Which I guess it's safe to assume that they would be. If there would be aliens here and we wouldn't know about it, they would have to be superior to us in their abilities, stuff like that. If they, otherwise it would be us on their planet, but they, but it was kind of funny when that guy, the bad guy that he's in the gunfight with, I was just like, you're genuinely weird. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, a lot of that stuff was sad though. I don't know. I think I said this last time though too. A lot of that just affects me more, you know, like I'm just getting soft in my older age.
Yeah.
But it was cool. I liked the way that they handled it, and I liked that he was trying to find the girl. Even though, yeah, he does find the girl. You know, obviously we're in the spoiler section, but
Yeah.
that was cool. I still liked the polyglot society. Those actually exist, by the way. I should do some investigating, see like if they seem like aliens. You know, those those groups.
the the language groups.
Yeah, the polyglot groups who
Jeez.
they get together
They have
and
these parties speaking different languages.
yeah. No, they do. I mean, I've seen that. Like, and they're like, okay, this is going to be a French meetup, or we're just going to be speaking French, and then the next one is like, you know, Arabic or something like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
You'll have to let me know how those are.
I've only been to.
Maybe I can go to another country and go to the English party. We're going to be speaking English only.
I'm all in, and then I'm there, but. Yeah, I would have to learn one more language at least to be considered a polyglot.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. You only know 2 languages.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
I don't know. It's either going to be Spanish or Japanese would be awesome. I always wanted to learn Japanese, but I don't know. But on that note, what's your take on that? If you could snap your fingers and be fluent in any other language right now, what would that be?
I don't know. It'd probably be Italian, just because I'd like to go to Italy and everything, and be fun to be able to go and speak the language, and as you said, snap my fingers and not have to do any of the actual, not have to do any of the work.
Yeah.
Japanese would be cool too.
You know, I think Japanese is the hardest for English speakers.
Yeah, and imagine how hard it'd be for me. I mean, yeah.
But so what's do you have any other, what was that other movie you recommended for me to see?
Operation Fortune.
Operation Fortune. Okay. Is that another Guy Ritchie one?
Yeah, it's good though. It's
Oh,
my
sweet.
favorite Guy Ritchie movie.
I love how you're like yeah, it's Guy Ritchie. It's good though.
No, I mean, well, just because
That was our last topic of movies was The Gentleman.
yeah,
And that was amazing. I thought that was good.
yeah, I liked that show a lot.
Especially the first half. And I'm not even holding the ending against them or anything. I liked all of it. But I think
I know what you mean though. Yeah,
I think it's harder for shows to kind of pull it off, to kind of tie loose ends together, to kind of bring everything together. I'm much more lenient on shows like that do a great job in the beginning of setting the scene and, you know, showcasing a really cool, just kind of urbane atmosphere, good dialogue, stuff like that.
yeah. No, I really liked it. I liked. I know what you mean. I thought the ending, it didn't really wrap everything up. It more or less just.
Oh, here, don't like bump the stand. But so, you're talking about The Gentleman now?
Yeah, it didn't really wrap everything up. It just kind of set it to a nice pause to where it can all be picked up in season 2. That's what it seemed like.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to. It seemed like they wanted to do a season 2.
Yeah, I think that's how they set it up too.
Yeah.
To be that way.
But Operation Fortune, though, you should definitely watch that one
Okay.
so we can talk about it.
All right. So probably the next Cinema Saturday is going to be Operation Fortune.
It's got the guy from Princess Bride.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What's his name?
I don't remember his name.
The main actor.
Yeah, the main actor. He's not the main actor in this movie, but he's in there. And then there's like a really funny throwback to Princess Bride, which I just really appreciate it. So you'll have to watch it so we can talk about it.
You know, I had a wedding couple, some of my clients who they picked a song from The Princess Bride to for her to like as an entrance song. Why are you? What's wrong with that?
I don't know. I thought you were gonna say they did like the whole theme for, but if they just picked a song, then that's cool.
Yeah,
I thought that you were gonna say like the groomsmen were all dressed like giant rats or something. They even hired somebody to come out and be like, boo, boo, like in the movie.
yeah, I know. Well, but no, it was that was cool. It just reminded me of that because, but I had to switch the song though actually, because I guess the DJ made a mistake, played the wrong song from the soundtrack, and then she wanted the main song in there. It was really cool because I was glad I was able to do that because on the day of, I guess they were disappointed it wasn't that way, but I was able to make their video, like aside from the highlight video, the creative one that I made for them, but also the one where it's like kind of documentary style of like the full ceremony. I put in the one that they wanted, but kind of made it sound like it was actually happening there, like in real time, you know, like kind of adapt, you know, shifted the levels as she was coming in, so it like became a little bit louder as she like walked in, so it was like I don't think anybody will know that actually wasn't the song that was playing there.
Yeah, but yeah, just growing up watching that movie, there was a nice little throwback in Operation Fortune.
Okay,
it's pretty small, but I'm probably overhyping it, but
I'll definitely check it out. One more figure in that show was, or in Operation Fortune was, I saw just on the poster, I guess Josh Hartnett is also in there.
Yeah,
he must have made some huge comeback because he was also in Oppenheimer, you know, which did great, obviously.
Yeah.
But I saw some trailer that I definitely want to see, of the new M. Night Shyamalan movie where he's like,
I've seen that trailer.
He's the killer. Yeah. and but you know, I assume because it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie, there's gotta be some twist outside of that, I hope. Like, because then, you know, if it's not, I'm of the belief though too, I think I've said this to you before, but just that trailers will ruin so many movies. You know, that's why it's like, if it's a movie I'm really excited about, I'll kind of like go out of my way to avoid
what?
I think it's sinking down again. So just
can I just hold it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think sometimes it's good to just straight up avoid trailers when possible. Any closing thoughts on the show Sugar before we wrap up this episode?
It's a fun show to watch with a glass of whiskey. So.
Is that what you had while you were watching it?
Not for every episode, but for like at least some of it. Yeah. Every episode. No.
And then before and after.
Yeah. Got to do the before prep and after. No.
For sure. All right. Sounds good. Well, hey, thank you everybody for tuning in, watching our first Cinema Saturday with the Thomas Galgani Show. All right. Until next time, guys.